Café Anyway. That's right, that's the name of the show.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
From Café Anyway. The last place on earth, somewhere in Podcastro Valley, in Maritopica.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Episode 2754. And I think you are doing the thing where you're listening to podcasts and you're like, what's this all about? And we're at the place where we're getting spam all over the place. Repeal the California death tax. It's what somebody sent me. Thank you.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Oh, Proposition 19. That's right. I think that's the one where
Mike's
when you die
Daily
and you got kids,
Podcast.
they don't.
Yeah.
What the tax thing, the inherit property taxes. Like when my dad passed away, the property taxes were so low. He inherited those property taxes from my grandmother, so it was insanely tiny. And then I sold it, and the people that got the house, they then had to pay crazy property taxes. So I guess that's that we want to. Somehow that all got messed up. I know I didn't cause that to happen. I read everything, and it just in California, it's who has the money to do the advertisements to hit us over and over and over again over the head. They get the good looking people, and they get the snazzy, cool looking ads or radio ads or the things they play over and over again on YouTube. And they just pummel people into thinking what is not the truth, because the people that are speaking the truth don't have enough money to pay for all those ads. That's why we got stuck with Uber and Lyft forcing something through that was not all the legit. So what's happened?
And here's today's podcast picture.
In California, where we have all these propositions you vote for, is, well, now people are realizing that they've been duped, and we're trying to change it with the next election coming around. The podcast picture is from 8 years ago, and the wonderful Basil the Boxer met a friend, let's just say. I don't know where this is. I think it might be Fairmont Ridge. I'm not sure. It is... Oh, Five Canyons. That's right. Ah, yes, he was playing with a very large friend in the Five Canyons area of Castro Valley, having a good time. So see that picture, that interesting picture of the late great Basil the Boxer at MikesDailyPodcast.com. I was going to bring this interesting bit of news to you that I didn't know if you know this or not, but Mean Girls is now a musical.
Welsh on the world.
Movie musicals are making a comeback. Now, to some, they've heard this over and over and over again. Musicals are making a comeback. That happened with Chicago. It happened with that other one. When I was a kid, there were a lot of musicals that were big. Actually, they were starting to peter out. In the 60s, there was this big resurgence in early 70s of musicals. You had Jesus Christ Superstar and Hair. And then somewhere in the 80s, we had Chess. That was kind of big, but then Cats. That was definitely big.
Addenda with Keva.
And we had Phantom of the Opera, Les Miserables. Huge. Well, now but those weren't movie musicals, though. Those were musicals. They tried to make them into movie musicals later. Then there was the movie musicals. Chicago did rather well. So they tried to do an update of Cats, which was a failure. Several musical films have delivered strong performances at the box office in recent years, suggesting moviegoers aren't altogether averse to the musical film genre. The Mean Girls musical, a remake of the original Lindsay Lohan film from 2004. And a lot of people now that have kids, they grew up with that movie. It raked in $33 million over its opening weekend. Then Wonka has topped a $500 million globally, $500 million it's made globally after a month in theaters. The Color Purple has topped $58 million after 3 weeks. The Little Mermaid has garnered over $298 million since hitting theaters. Thanks to the music industry's popularity, culture appears to be trending towards more music-centric movies, concerts, and straight-up movie musicals and movies with biopics. That, according to Rob Black. I produce his podcast. He does a money-related radio show on AM 1220 KDOW in the Bay Area, weekday mornings in the 8 o'clock hour. And then he is also on TV on Kron, Monday through Thursday in the 9 o'clock hour. Not all recent movie musicals were a hit after disappointing showings for West Side Story remake, Dear Evan Hansen, and In the Heights did not do so well. And Tesla is hitting potholes. We hear about how Tesla, with all the stories we hear about Tesla, with bad things happening with Tesla or Elon Musk, it's amazing that they're even in business and that I have to drive around 15 million Teslas on my way into work every day.
This is Mike's podcast picnic.
Down to Fremont, and there are Teslas all along the way, all over Fremont, because there's a Tesla plant in Fremont. Well, on Wednesday, Tesla is expected to report higher sales but lower profit. That was, yes, on Wednesday they did. So last quarter, Chinese car maker BYD passed Tesla as the world's first EV seller. The Chinese car maker has beat Tesla. Versions of Tesla's Model 3. Maybe there was visions of Teslas dancing in your head over the holidays. That, I'm sure that's why a lot of people got Teslas. But versions of Tesla's Model 3 became ineligible for U.S. tax credits. That was a lot of money that was on the table, worth up to $7.5K per car. As we go outside a Café Anyway, where we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast.
Anyway.
Somewhere in Podcastro Valley, the last place on Earth in America.
MTV News. You hear it first.
That as U.S. electric vehicle growth cools, car rental chains like Hertz and Sixt, SIX with a T, have offloaded thousands of EVs. Lots of Teslas. Tesla repeatedly has cut prices, most recently in Europe. And the Cybertruck has had mixed reviews. Tesla will always be able to talk AI and creating labor-saving iRobots as well. So they have that. But EV sales grew some 30% year over year.
Magnification.
And continue to grow. Impressive, but supply was up too, with more automakers vying for the EV market share. The average analyst target price for Tesla stock is now about $237. Tesla stock was up 1% recently. I don't know if that's changed by the time you have heard this, but their stock has been down since the start of the year 15%. Now, what else is going on? Oh, here's a new job alert. Dog poop detective. Bolanzo, it's an Italian city. They're planning to use DNA tracing to track down owners who don't scoop their pups' droppings. It's a whodunit. And they'll get a fine once they're tracked down. Oh, that would not fly in the United States. Nuh-uh. All the people with the privacy concerns and it's my dog, you back away.
You know, I mean, people get stuck on stupid. You know what I mean?
$269 million cannot buy a presidential nomination. Florida's Republican Governor Ron DeSantis launched his presidential campaign in May of last year, just to remind you, with a glitch-riddled announcement on Twitter. Remember that? Wasn't that with Tucker Carlson or Elon Musk?
You know, there's a real scary holiday coming up.
And it was glitch-ridden. On Sunday, he ended his campaign with a video on the same platform. And Nikki Haley, did pretty good in the New Hampshire election primary. You know, the news, a lot of news outlets, both conservative-leaning and liberal-leaning, all of them were all saying, oh my gosh, so Trump just won. Trump won and did really well. Nikki should just throw in the towel. But she was like not 20 points behind or 20 percentage points behind. She was, I guess, within, was it 15%? Somewhere like that. I did not know. And then I'm hearing, oh yeah, they predicted she'd do better than that. No, I didn't hear any of that. I heard she was going to get trounced. So I don't know. It's just, no one's got a chance. No one's got a chance. I don't know how American elections are going, but somebody was talking to me lately saying, hey, I thought in America we had a choice. We could vote for whoever we wanted. It's a democracy. Well, no, it narrows it down. Everybody picks it down to two people, and that's what you got to deal with, and you got to vote for those two. Not really. You'll get your ballot, and you'll see a bunch of other people you can vote for. At one point, I was talking to this person saying, hey, wasn't Roseanne Barr running? This was a while ago, but I think she was running for the Green Party.
The Royal Trump Tweet Decree.
Still vote for whatever, but everybody just says, meh.
Woo!
It's like Nikki Haley isn't even running, yet she gets all these votes. Yet she's doing pretty good. She did pretty good in New Hampshire, so whatever. Oh, and this is a thing. So my lovely lady friend got me a Yeti cup. And it's amazing because it keeps the hot forever. Like all day. You've got the hot coffee that you put in at 7 a.m. And so, but they're not the only ones. Stanley Cup has the same thing going on, but they weren't really selling that many. I mean, they were selling millions, but they're selling more because they started painting the cups pink. And there's a big rage going on, all the rage. Now, people raging against that. Now, somebody stole a bunch of Stanley Cups in Sacramento earlier this week. They just stuffed their car full of those. I don't think it's the ones that keep the coffee hot. It's more the cool type that keeps your drink cool. Gym drink ones, but yeah, now it's floor mirrors though. Costco is selling luxury Anthropologie mirrors. Their cost is $150. Anthropologie is $1,200. So you can get it much cheaper there at Costco, but it's the same type of Anthropologie mirror. Somebody doing a spin on it and making money. And consumers are borrowing a lot. Consumer borrowing ballooned by $23 billion in November as the card balances passed a record $5 trillion. Yikes. Ooh, and Netflix did rather well with their earnings that they released recently. So people are still... in fact, their subscribers is like... they've broken records. So
you will travel into the incredible universe.
Then one last thing here as I fly through all the rest of this outside of Café Anyway, and all these birds are flying past me, and we're enjoying the beautiful day. Oh, the golden age of Hollywood, the classics are going to get diversity-focused remakes. Hollywood continues its obsession with politics of race. The Daily Wire says legendary Hollywood gems like The Wizard of Oz and the Christmas classic It's a Wonderful Life are both getting what director and writer Kenya Barris is calling a diverse reboot. Speaking to Variety at the Sundance Film Festival going on, Barris confirmed he's working on scripts for both films.
Mike is on it, man.
Go where no man has gone before.
We love it,
The
Mike.
creator Blackish and the director of You People is finished with his reimagining of The Wizard of Oz, which will place Dorothy in Inglewood, California.
I got through that. I got into it.
Home of the Forum, the LA Forum, which I saw Boston at, and Bryan Adams, and Rush, and met Wayne Gretzky.
Kathy's Corner.
Kathy's Corner.
Oh, and I guess there was some big basketball team that used to play there. The second film he's working on is an update of It's a Wonderful Life and will feature a person of color. I think that's the perfect story to tell for a person of color, black or brown, to get into that because our communities have some issues and someone trying to help that community out, says the creator of Blackish.
This show is clean.
And the director of You People.
Pretty much.
Fabagoo. Things to do. Things to do.
So that is what we have. The latest here outside of Café Anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valley, the last place on earth. And we have some people outside, no movie directors, but look who's here. Hi, Mark. It's Benita the Rodeo Queen. How y'all doing? And this is Madame Rootabega. Ooh. Madame Rootabega, do you like movies? Yes. Do you like turkeys? Yes.
When you are a man, sometimes you wear stretchy pants.
Do you like Sweden? No. Well, Turkey has accepted Sweden into NATO. Turkey's parliamentary approved Sweden's entrance to NATO, removing one of the last remaining obstacles to a historic expansion of the alliance in response to Russia's invasion of Ukraine. It ends a nearly 2-year-long diplomatic standoff between Turkey and Western powers that began with Turkish President Erdogan threatening to block both Sweden and Finland's entry into the organization. That from the Wall Street Journal. Interesting. Look who else is here.
Hello there, Mike. This is Valentino, the parking attendant.
And this is Bison Bentley. Do you know that?
Mike, we sure would like to throw out a bunch of stuff here in the booth of the parking lot day.
Yeah, the parking lot booth. Do you know that? Oh, there's a lot of stuff in there? Well, you can get recycled refunds through the city of Oakland. Many multifamily rental properties in the city, the refunds are the result of a lawsuit the city of Oakland brought against California Waste Solutions over recycling service charges above the contracted amount during the 2010s. The lawsuit settlement agreement also reduces these property owners' recycling rates going forward. Oh, wow. Rates actually going down?
Magnification.
In Oakland? Thanks to a lawsuit. We need more lawsuits like this because everything just goes up. Nothing ever comes down except for when some lawsuit like this happens. Fascinating. Okay. Well, that's the end of the show, pretty much. Oh, if you go on YouTube, I'm sure, and you're a Genesis fan, you love not so much, I guess if you love the book.
Mike's cassette copy.
There is a bunch of stuff on YouTube. I just wandered into, I guess, Phil Collins, when they were making the album, I think it's just called Genesis. It has the song Home by the Sea, and it's just the same, that's all, and it's no fun being an illegal alien. And what else is on there? It's Mama. It is fascinating because Phil Collins is filming it with like an old, this is in the 80s, early 80s. So it's not a digital video camera. This is one with you had to stick a VHS in there. And the quality is kind of smudgy. The imagery is very smudgy.
Holding court with Lady Katie. Lady Katie.
Tony Banks and Mike Rutherford as they make the song Home by the Sea, and how they didn't have the lyrics at first, and Phil Collins would do these notes. Do these. It did sound just like it was gibberish, basically.
Band's mutations.
It's amazing. All the taping they had to do. They would just tape and tape and tape. They used a lot of cassettes, and they would jam, and they would listen for interesting sounds that they all liked by committee, the three of them. Ooh, that sounds good. Let's go with that. We don't like that. Let's not do that. And it's probably how a lot of bands create stuff, but it was fascinating to watch that. And back in the day, and Phil Collins is so young, unfortunately, he's not doing that well. He hasn't been doing well for a while, but he's still around. And Mike Rutherford and Tony Banks, and just how they bounce ideas off of each other and how they came up with that song. And it was the 80s, and there was drum machines in the early 80s, and I had no idea that the weird laugh that Phil Collins does in Mama, that ha came from a Grandmaster Flash song. So yes, I learned a lot on YouTube today. Probably spent a little too much time on YouTube, but hey, it was a day off. Next show, it'll be the wonderful Chely Shoehart, Floyd the Floorman, John Deere the engineer, and with your way to call me and let me know what you think about anything we covered today. Here's the number.
Call Mike at the Café Anyway hotline. Area code 510-228-4640.
And don't forget, I got a website and an email and all that jazz and all kinds of added extra stuff on the website. To find the website, why, listen to this person.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at MikesDailyPodcast.com.
Email Mike now at MikesDailyPodcast@gmail.com.
See you tomorrow. Bye!